This is MIA2K podcast, and we are your ticket from Miami to Seoul. We are your pilots, Kathy and Laura, two fun-seeking girls with obsessive fandom tendencies, taking you on a ride through the Hallyu wave from our perspective as opinionated, grown Latina fans from Miami.
Before we close the cabin doors, make sure you're following us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And if you like to watch, our in-flight podcast video is available on YouTube and Spotify.
Once we reach our cruising altitude, we'll be serving one thing and one thing only, piping hot tea. We're ready to fly into today's topic with our hot and sunny takes.
So fasten your seatbelts, sit back, relax, and prepare for takeoff. Hi guys!
Hello!
This week we're bringing yet another light and airy episode to pace ourselves as we take down every K-pop entertainment company for their shady practices.
Yeah, today we're going to keep it super cute and fun, and we're here to talk about Lightsticks. So just so you guys know, this is a show and tell episode today, so we highly recommend that you check it out either on YouTube or Spotify so that you can watch our video component, because we're going to be going crazy showing you stuff. So if you're listening, it's cool, but really, join the video party. It's where it's at.
100%. So I guess like we always begin everything. What are Lightsticks and how did they come to be?
Okay, so I'll start here because your girl, Kathy, as some of you may or may not know, I love to write and I can go for miles and miles and miles and days writing. So I wrote this blog post, which we'll link in the description. Last year, I think. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year.
Yeah, I think it was last year. Yeah.
About the surge of basically not necessarily light sticks, but light components in the audience for concerts, because we went to Bad Bunny, which is a Latin artist. And when we went, he had the free bracelets that they put on the seats and we wore them and we were like, bro, if these bitches only knew that they got this because of K-pop, like all these people out here are probably like, if you told them about K-pop, they would be like, ew, what is that? No, not us. But yes, you bitch, because y'all be wearing the bracelets and you don't even know where it comes from. And also a little note, I had so many Swifties in my comments when I posted that blog talking about like, oh, Taylor does that. Yeah. Where did you think Taylor got the idea, mama? Huh? Like Coldplay, Taylor, Bad Bunny, the Super Bowl, everyone who's done it has done it because K-pop did it first. And read our blog because there's a lot more tea and information and facts and things that you can look at there. But anyway, I will read you guys just a little blurb to get you on the same page as us, and then we'll go into just the bullets for y'all. So back in the early 2000s, when K-pop was just starting to take shape as the phenomenon we know today, and the second generation of K-pop artists were coming up, fandoms would try and make their concert-going experience more significant by leveraging their fandom colors, wearing coordinated outfits, and eventually bringing glow sticks to create a visual show back at the artist. The way the fans think is, it's not just about seeing the artist, but about them seeing us being there for them. I think that's like the main sentiment that really kind of got to me when I was doing research about this for the blog originally. It's like, wow, like it's kind of like an impactful line. Like, it's not about us seeing them, it's about them seeing us being there for them. Like, wow.
I love that.
This is when you know fandom is like, it could go into murky waters. It's a fine thin line of like the fan service and the delusion. Like I get it. I'm here for it. I have 7 Lightsticks standing next to me, but it's a little, it could be tricky here. So Big Bang, who debuted in 2006, was the first to take matters into their own hands and created the first K-pop lightstick, which they called Bang Bong. We'll explain why in a second. To offer their fans as both merch and as a step up from the more generic glow sticks that have been used before. This revolutionized the entire culture of K-pop concerts and started a movement now adopted by every single K-pop group that has debuted since then, in parentheses, that has the budget for it, because not every company has the budget for a light stick, really. So it depends on that. And that's that on my paragraphs on the blogs. So now let's talk a little bit more about the minor details. So in Korean, bong means stick. So that's why earlier when we mentioned the name of the Big Bang light stick being called Bang Bong, the word bong at the end is stick. So all the bongs from all the different groups, and I know when I say bongs, all my Western people and everyone who's literally not in Korea is
K-pop
probably
people.
like thinking about a different kind of bong. I get it. Let's all make the jokes and get our laughter out right now. But so every single group that has a light stick, the light stick has a name, and it's probably related to the group, the fandom, something about their concept. So the name is usually blank bong officially, at least. And as I mentioned, depending on budget, as the groups get bigger and as they have more budget to play with, sometimes another way to get even more money in the bank is to make a second version or a third version of the light stick. So they evolve, they make them prettier, and they add more bells and whistles or like capabilities to it so that they can incentivize you to buy the next version. And then the designs are also getting more and more creative.
Yeah.
The typical ones that you see like 90% across the board is just like a stick tower structure with an orb at the top.
There's some genius out there that said, normal, not for me. For example, Day 6, which is a band, they actually have a watch that's their light stick.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to worry about anything because it's in your hand.
Yeah.
Another one that comes to mind is
The Itsy one. It's like a bangle. It's like a ring light, but like it fits around your hand. So people use it like that very cutely. Also the Blackpink hammer. I really like that. I think that's the first light stick that stood out to me that I was like, oh, this is a thing that everyone has. Cool.
Yeah, it is
So
very cool.
I think it's a cool design. It incorporates both of their colors, which is also in their name, Blackpink. It
Right.
has the heart, but it also has the hammer. So it kind of brings together the whole, like they have the hard savage side and they have the pretty side. So I think that light stick is pretty genius for many different reasons. We also have Icon who have a bat. Not like a full-size baseball bat, but it's a bat. It's in the shape of a bat and it's pretty cool. And then, funnily enough, BI, ex Icon leader, has a very interesting light stick that is not in the shape of a bat, but it's in the shape of a phallic object. I don't know what to call it. And apparently it vibrates. So I don't know what BI was intending, but I want that light stick, is what I'm going to say. For research purposes.
It's interesting.
It is
Another one that comes to mind too is Luna. Their light stick is basically a scepter, and it's very, very long. But it's you're like a princess with your Luna light stick.
Agreed.
The Mamamoo light stick, it's in the shape of a radish because the moo in Mamamoo sounds like the Korean word for radish. So that's where they got it from.
I love that.
Some of the light sticks, even though they don't have like a out of the concept design, they make the inside, the orb, really, really beautiful. The 17 version 2 light stick, the inside is shiny with glitter. The diamond is like set, and then it has like glitter that like shakes inside, and it's just a normal light stick because it's just a stick with an orb at the top, but they took care to make it look really nice.
Treasure one. So what I thought was cool about this one is that it actually opens. It has like a button here so that you can open the box kind of like a treasure box. So it kind of opens like I'm proposing to you with my little diamond inside.
Very cute.
And I think that's very sweet, very cute. Doesn't have a lot going on inside, which I think fans take advantage of that to like fill it with things. So we're not those girls. We can probably decorate like the outside with a couple of decals here and there, but I don't think we're gonna be putting anything inside of our light sticks. But that's the other one that we wanted to show you guys, so you know what it's like.
The Rose, which is an idol band, they're just a band.
Yeah.
They came out with a light stick, I think, last year, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's nothing crazy, but just the thought process and the way that it was put together is just delicious.
Like imagine the Beauty and the Beast, the rose in the glass case. So it's a black rose in a like glass case, but it's not obviously as big as the glass case because it has the handle.
K-poppies, we are inventive.
Yes, we are.
And even things that are supposed to be defects, we take advantage of. So the Airy Bong, which is the EXO one, EXO light stick, the covers are easy to come out. And fans have taken actually advantage of that to decorate the inside without having to break apart their light stick and hope that it comes back together.
Yeah.
So even in that sense, people take advantage of defects and make the best out of it.
Yeah. Even and going a step further, talking about fans' creativity, we've seen a lot of fans that have participated in contests to like design the next light stick, because I think it's really smart when companies do that. I think everyone should do that because number one, 10 million fans are gonna do a better job than any of the designers you have on the payroll. Like they're just gonna they love
100%.
the group, they know everything, they know the lore. So they're gonna make something that people know and love. And if you do it like fan voted, you're going to get the people's favorite. So I think it's just going to work out beautifully. Obviously, sometimes designers don't really have product expertise in terms of like
Right.
building something physical. But I really do think that more companies should take that into account, because I think it's literally free design, which is like
Right.
can be really expensive. So you can get a lot of really good ideas from the fans. I also recently saw a design. I think it was for card. The
Yes.
girl that
Oh
made
my
it,
God.
oh fucking like I love that our algorithms are showing us the exact same shit.
We
Bro,
need that light
this
stick. Oh my
girl
God.
design, it was like cuz
Oh,
so the whole concept of card is that they're like a deck of cards, so like the king cards, and they all have their functions. This girl made like the king puzzle piece, and then the like people were complaining to her, I guess, that like the bottom was like thick, or and it was going to be hard to like swing it, and she was like, "Nah, bitches, I got you. That's just the 3D base that I made for the design to like go seamlessly and be displayed. If you take it out, it has a normal like regular K-pop handle." My mind was so blown.
it was
Like,
beautiful.
oh my god, I wish Card had a better company that would literally look at this and put it into production, because they
Oh,
fucking deserve it. Oh my lord. Wow. I was just, yeah, it was
it's
everything.
it's beautiful. Like it was
Beautiful.
beautiful. Like it
Beautiful. I've seen so many fan designs of Lightsticks. Like, it's just, there's so much creativity out there. People are truly talented. And for what? For these companies to overlook them?
no.
No, bro. Like, literally get it
Ignore.
together.
And then the last stick, the last light stick I wanted to highlight is the boys light stick, and it's a cute little megaphone. I
It's
thought that
very
was pretty
cute.
cool.
It's very cute.
It's different. There are other ones that are also very outside the box, but we just wanted to talk about these in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah, I really hope that more companies and more groups, especially the newer ones, like maybe Zero Base One or someone, that is just coming out, can do something really innovative and change the game for Lightsticks. Because at this point, it's pretty much been the same and very consistent since it came out with Big Bang. So I think there's definitely room to make an even better experience. Make a fucking crown, bro. Make like a GoPro situation that is like on everyone's heads, and then we can all headbang together and it'll be fucking great. I don't know. It's like the sky's the limit, and
It's true.
just, go for it, because we're waiting for stuff. So anyway.
And we'll buy it.
And we will, as illustrated by this episode. But yeah, there's a lot of different designs now that are kind of entering the chat. So I'm actually really looking forward to what the newer groups are going to do, because I think that they need to step outside the box to keep this interesting. So
100%. So if you're not a K-poppy, you might be wondering, okay, light sticks, how do you use them? What's the purpose? Like,
fair
do you
question. Fair question.
hold them? Do you throw them at people? Don't throw them at people. They're very expensive.
Sometimes the orb will fly on its own and
That's
land
true.
on someone's head, but that's a different story for another day.
It's not supposed to happen. So if you guys haven't seen K-pop concert footage, basically you will see the audience with their light sticks, and the way to use the light sticks is very uniform throughout the whole venue and throughout just the fandom. You basically just turn on your light stick, hold it at chest level, and just move it back and forth with the music the 3 hours that you're there. And that's it.
She's
That's how
not
you
bitter
use the
about it
lightstick.
at all.
Like if you're watching the video, you will see what we mean. It's literally just this, depending on the music. It can go a little faster, it can go slower, but it's just back and forth at chest level with the light on, and that's pretty much it. The idea is if it's at chest level, you're not being intrusive to your fellow fans around you. You're keeping it somewhere where it's not going to bother them or their
Yeah.
cameras. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea of holding it to your chest. The back and forth, I'm still trying to figure that out.
I guess it's like a beat thing. It's very basic, but that's the etiquette rules, which
Mhm.
the MIA2K podcast hosts are not known for following very well, especially one in particular. And she is currently covering her mouth laughing because she knows she's about to expose herself.
I don't follow the rules at all. I do try to be mindful to keep it to my chest, or at least within my area, so I'm not in people's way of the camera. But
Yeah,
sometimes in the
sometimes.
heat of the moment, it just happens. And then like I have to like reel it back in. But basically, I just use it like an extension of my arm. So whatever I would do with my arm, I do with the stick. It's a microphone. It fist pumps. Like it just depends.
It has a life of its own. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie,
just
you're not
depends.
alone, Laura, because when I went recently to see Yoongi during August, I was by myself, right? And typically, I don't really care whether I have a light stick or not. Like, you guys will find out in a second how did we get to have 7 light sticks each. But I actually don't really care about them because I focus more on filming. So to film, I have to be stable, so I can't be like shaking it. But for Yoongi, I try to have like a split moment of like, okay, I'm gonna film right now. No, right now I'm gonna enjoy. Right now I'm gonna scream. Right now I'm gonna do this. So when I had the light stick, I caught myself going like, like up really high, just like out of excitement. And then I'm like, fuck, I just fucked up the person behind me, like their shot. So it happens, like especially for us as rowdy fans from Latin America
Yeah.
who live in Miami and just live the rowdy life. It's really hard for us to contain our energy within like our space. So yeah, you're not alone. It happened to me too.
And personally, I don't mind if somebody calls me out that's behind me. Like, I get it. I'm being ridiculous. Like, if you
Sure.
call me out, okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop. So I'm cool with the consequences of being a little crazy.
Yeah, same.
You just gotta live.
We do. But, we do try to stick to the etiquette. And especially, we did go to a concert in South Korea, and there was really no opportunity to step over the line there. So we were very good about where we held it, and we didn't block anybody's view. We didn't like assault anyone with the with the top of it or anything. So we can be good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're mindful depending on where we
Yeah.
are. Like we know in the US, the audiences can be more rowdy, so we are rowdier. And then when we were in Korea, we were very mindful of the culture, so we didn't do that.
Yeah.
It hurt my
Totally.
soul,
Totally.
but we didn't do it.
We didn't.
Speaking of etiquette, one of the things that really bother us as a duo
Yeah.
is when people bring other groups light sticks to a concert. So for
Yeah.
example, you're going to an NCT concert and you bring the army bomb or vice versa, something like that.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about doing that, don't. Like,
I mean, okay, let's preface this by saying this is our opinion. We have different opinions from other people. We're going
right.
to talk about some of those opinions here, and we're going to give our reasoning for all of it. You're free to do as you choose, but these are the reasons why we think it's just not right to bring another artist Lightstick to the concert of the one that you're watching. So let's talk about all the different aspects to this situation. The number one thing in our opinion is, and we haven't talked to any artists, so we don't know how they feel personally, but this is just me. Reason number 6,000,000 why I can't be an idol. If I'm on stage and I see a Lightstick from another group, I'm gonna get low-key offended because it's like, we work hard and we have our company and we have our things and we sell the merch and we have everything. And then to look out at the crowd and see a light stick that is so obviously not ours, it's gonna make a bunch of shit go through my head. Like, are you a casual fan? Did someone like were you not able to afford it? Like, maybe it's not that I'm gonna hate you. I'm just going to feel a little bit offended or like dissed or slighted or something. That's just one point.
For example, the NCT light stick is very, very green. And if you bring it to any other concert, it will stand out like, a lot.
It's gonna be an eyesore.
When I was at the 17 concert, I wasn't like it was a pretty it was the Kia Forum, and I could see every single NCT light stick that was in that crowd
Yeah.
because it's so green and it's so obvious, and it just kind of it didn't kill the vibe, but it was just kind of like, why?
Yeah, and it can actually kill the vibe. So our friend Alex talked to us about because so she's a very new K-poppy, and she struggled to find the Stray Kids light stick. She really wanted it for the concert. She wasn't gonna be able to find it. So she asked us, like, is it okay if I bring my army bomb to the Stray Kids concert? And we're both like, no. We like immediately shut her down. Poor thing. We love you, Alex. We really meant well. But then she understood like on her own when she went. First of all, we both lent her our light sticks during the Stray Kids
Mm,
concerts, so she was double fisting at multiple like points during the concert. She could use my light stick the entire time. So like I wasn't just telling her no, I gave her a solution and I gave her mine. We also did like merch lines and try to get her the light stick everywhere we could, but it just again they were literally only 600 to 700 available every day, so there was no
right.
chance there. But that's one thing. But then later she went to see Suga when he went to Newark. And she came back and she was like, oh my God, you guys, let me tell you about how you were right. Because there was one person with a twice candy bong. And she had shown us the twice candy bong at my house. She came over with the light stick when she got it because she was so fucking excited. And she was showing us all the settings. And one of the settings that it has is that it has like an orange and a pink light that keep kind of chasing each other, like the snake game from the Nokias back in the day, or however else you want to think about it. And so those lights are very obvious, right? Like you can see like the orange and the pink
And
going
bright.
around. And she's like, dude, I literally was so distracted by the pink and orange light that someone on the floor had in front of Yoongi. Like I couldn't focus. So it's not just distracting potentially to the artist, but it's also distracting to other fans. It kind of breaks the experience and the illusion for everyone, especially when you have a light show like BTS does, like 17 does, like 80s does, that is coordinated. I literally for 80s, I sat behind the master control like area, and I have a video of the person who was managing the computer that controlled the light show. I was so like, in awe of it all. I wasn't paying attention while the guys were dancing, obviously, but like during men's or during they had a cute little moment when they had like, oh, if you say this, the lights will turn yellow or blue. So like I was watching it happen, and if there had been like a fucking pink light in the middle of that, it breaks the moment. Like they literally put the light show into the agenda of
Right.
what they're gonna do. So it really does ruin the experience, in my opinion, in our opinion. So
Yeah. Actually, I recently saw a tweet from
I saw
it's
from Mamamoo this past weekend. It was from
it
Mamamoo.
was Mamamoo.
That the
It
girls saw that people had different light sticks, and they were playfully like, oh, you don't have our light stick? Oh yeah, it's fine, it's fine. But like they notice again, it's impossible for them not to notice because they're looking out at the crowd.
right. And I think I think they're like being cute and like
Mm,
sassy, but in a way they're also just trying to say in a nice way like the fuck you doing here.
mm-hmm.
At least that's the way that I would take it. If I was that person that brought the like other group's light stick, I'd be like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, I'm getting called out."
Yeah.
There are some people, some groups, some people that are okay with people bringing light sticks from
Yeah.
other groups, and we only know they're okay with it because they have been vocal and they've
Yeah.
said it's cool if you bring it, like this is a party, it's all good.
Yeah.
But not everyone has said
Yeah.
that.
It's a lot of stays have said that they think it's cute. I've seen a lot of that on Twitter of them saying like, oh no, like stays are not gatekeeping fandom, so you can bring whatever light stick. We think it's cute. And so, you don't speak for the group, you speak for yourself. Maybe other stays, we're stays too. We don't like it. Like
Yeah.
it just really depends. Because we want to be fair and balanced here, we are going to read some of the tweets that we've seen in favor. So, for example, this person said, it's like noticing your friend's family member came to support you. It's actually sweet. Like if I went to Stray Kids concert with a Lightini, Benny could afterwards tell Woo he saw someone from AT's fam in the crowd, and Woo would be happy we support his best friend. That's a very cute outlook. It might be true And with, with Stray Kids and ATs, it's a very specific special relationship that they have. So I think this could be canon in a way, but you don't know that. We don't know
Yeah.
that for a fact, and it doesn't work like that across with every single group. Again, ATs and Stray Kids, very specific relationship. We don't want to assume that about every other group. We saw entire threads of people in favor saying like, I think it's very cute when they bring other groups' lightsticks to the show. Like they couldn't afford to find the right lightstick, but still wanted to add a little more brightness into the crowd. They still bought a ticket to support across fandoms. Who cares? If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. That's fine. We're saying that we think the artist cares. We've heard artists vocalize in some way or shape or form, and some fans can actually have a distraction from the experience. So we're not saying we're right, you're wrong, but
But just don't.
just don't. Yeah, just don't.
Don't.
There was one funny one though for when NCT Dream was it that was out here touring, that somebody brought like a green dust mop, and that shit sent me for days. Days. Or like they had the Minecraft designer. Bro, it was so, that shit is funny, okay? If you're gonna do
That's
something,
different.
do that. But
Yeah.
bringing another group's like Lightstick to the concert, I just don't think that's it. There is also, we will say, because we did mention that we think some artists might have a problem with it. There are other artists who have made statements in favor of seeing other lightsticks, like Mark Tuan when he was on tour last year. He was like, oh, let me see what lightsticks people brought, because, not every Agase has their lightsticks. So he was kind of calling out like, oh, I see NCT, I see this, I see that. And that's different. That's not, but Mark Tuan, I wouldn't call it a K-pop concert per se.
No.
He has a very different thing going as a solo act. So I don't know. Alexa also, she's a very small artist, literally, figuratively. She's very small in
Tiny.
size,
So
and she is a smaller artist as well. So she also during her concert called out like, oh, I see twice candy bongs, I see this, I see that. She doesn't have a light stick. So for her, other people bringing stuff to her show is like, oh, the K-pop fans and the K-pop community are supporting, and she can see, I don't know what fandoms are kind of rooting for her even more. BM will be cool with literally anything. You can show up with a broom and BM will be like, yo, I love you. So of course he said something in favor, but yeah, everybody will have their opinions. We would love to hear yours on the comments somewhere in the DMs. Let us know how you feel. You know how we feel. We've made it very clear. And we know that other people don't feel the same way as us, and that's okay. Just don't.
Just don't.
Or do
Just
whatever.
don't.
I'm not your dad. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But still. The last thing, K-pop is not the end all be all center of the universe, even though it is to us pretty much. But one other comment that we saw that was kind of cool or an interesting perspective was from a J-pop fan. They said, it's kind of funny for me because as a J-pop group fan, my fandom don't have official lightsticks. Lightsticks are actually part of the concert merch, which means they change every concert. So it's normal to see old lightsticks or even other groups' lightsticks or even no brand lightstick. It's fun to see how colorful it can be. So that's also
cute.
a different perspective, but it seems like that's part of that
The culture.
specific culture.
Right.
With a coordinated light show and K-pop, I just don't think it's the same comparison here of apples to oranges, but good perspective to have nonetheless. We love that. We love perspective. So with that etiquette and usage manual out of the way, Laura, can you please walk us through how we started collecting light sticks? Because I am fully an unwilling participant that became a very willing accomplice in this operation. Please tell the kids.
We became Army in like 2020.
Mhm.
And as soon as we became Army, I started looking through Weavers and stuff. Basically, they sell merch. So I was just going through Weavers, just trying to figure shit out. And then I saw that they sold light sticks, and I was like, ooh, I want to go to a concert. I'm going to need one. This was in the middle of COVID. There wasn't going to be a concert, but I was like, you never know. Like, I just need it.
Yeah.
So I got one for myself. And then I was like, wait a second. I can't be the only crazy person.
Wait, but mind you, she knew that, like, even though, like, in her delusion that she's like, I want this for a concert, she knew that there was no concerts, but she did get it thinking that the BTS MTV Unplugged was happening in February, and it came in time for her to use it for that. And she sent me a picture of herself with the light stick watching the Unplugged show of BTS in 2021. So she did have like a purpose, like immediate usage that she was going to get out of it.
It felt right.
It did. I get it. I
Felt
get it.
right. So because I didn't want to be by myself and because I was trying to keep Kathy in, keep her in the circle, I was like, you know what? This would be a great fucking gift. So I got it for her.
Yeah. I was also going through shit and she's like, I know you need some like cheering up. So I remember you were texting me about like a surprise arriving. And I think this was like about a month after she got hers. So like it wasn't really in my mind that this could be it. She was like, hey, are you gonna be home on Thursday? And I was like, why? And she's like, oh, something's might be arriving. And I'm like, okay, sure, cool, whatever. I had like health issues and things. So I was like, my mind was elsewhere. I was really not thinking about it. And then I see the box outside my door from Weavers from literal South Korea. And I was like, what? But still, you know, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And in my mind, I'm like, I knew when she got hers, but like I didn't look into it or anything. And I was like, this is probably like $150 million. Like, there's no way that that's what this is. And then I opened it and it was. There's an unboxing that we're going to post as well from when I got it, which is very genuine because it's not an unboxing. It was just me filming it for her when I was opening the surprise. And it genuinely like touched my soul. So yeah, and then that also triggered us becoming photo card people, which you can also watch our episode on being photo card collectors. So anyway, I was really happy with the light stick, but again, you know, we were like, okay, yeah, it's 2021, the world is ending, we're never going to use these except except BTS fully was like permission to dance. We don't need permission. We're going to go to LA. Let's go in the middle of Omicron. And we did get to use our light sticks within the same year that Laura got them, which is fucking wild. To this, I will never believe that. I will never be able to wrap my mind around the fact that we got the light sticks and got to use them that same year.
Same. I literally thought they were just gonna stay there, but like I needed it. Like it didn't matter if it was gonna stay there. I needed it. The fact that we were able to use it literally will always blow my mind.
Yeah.
Always.
I think it's like top 5 army like core memory of ours for sure. Like 100%. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
100%. Yeah. If you guys haven't noticed, we have the same light sticks. Not on purpose.
Not on purpose, not by design.
We just do. Like it just happened.
Even when we try not to be the same person, the universe is like, nah, bitch, stay in the same lane. Like fully. So as we were talking right now about getting the crazy amazing chance to use our Lightsticks in LA, we hadn't even left LA from PTD when Laura said, you know what? We need the Monster X Lightstick for the concert because they were supposed to come to Miami in January of 2022, which ended up getting pushed back, but we still got the Lightstick because Laura is on her shit. I'm not like, oh yeah, the universe and the birds and like the bees and the sky is blue and it's raining and the plane. And Laura's like, light sticks right now, right now. I need them all.
Because after using the light stick at PTDLA, like I was hooked.
Yeah.
Like, that was the end of me. Like I couldn't ever again.
Well, and we went to a concert like a week after for our Latin artists with our family. So we came back from PTDLA. We had gotten tickets from before, like I think even before PTD to this one concert here in Miami to see our artists that we're not going to name because the concert was not at TBH. But I think part of the concert not being it was the lack of light sticks. Laura and I both with our families like 3 rows away from each other. We're like, like I know we're going through post-concert depression. It's been a week. Like but this is really not at all it. I think that was even more like confirmation that for Laura that she's like, I did the right thing by getting us the Monster X ones. Like 100%. There's no way.
So that was our second one. Our third one was Stray Kids, and they all have the same reasoning. It's the same, like, what if there's a concert? We don't want to be stuck without a light stick.
Every single light stick that we have, I think except one of them, was Laura being like, we need the light stick. And I just said, okay, I'll Venmo you. It's fine.
Except two. There's 2.
I think it was just the EXO one. Well, but the other one, because I didn't buy it, but that's a different story.
No. We'll get to it. Okay. So our third one was Stray Kids, and we actually also got to use it in concert because we went to see them earlier this year in Atlanta. And then the funnest story, I became a carrot early 2022. Yes. And again, I needed the light stick. So I got the light stick.
She did.
But Kathy was like, they're cute, whatever. At that point, just kind of flirting, not ready to buy a light stick. So I went to see them in LA with my husband, and I was having the time of my life. I was light sticking away, going crazy. I tell my husband, I'm like, Ryan, can you get me a drink? And he's like, sure, whatever. So he goes and gets a drink, comes back, and all of a sudden, he's like, here's a drink and also light stick. And I'm like, what? Mine? Mine is
You're like, wait, Ryan, did you become a Karen in the middle of the concert and buy yourself a light stick? What is happening?
I was so confused because the concert was going on. I was having a drink. I was having the time of my life, and he shows up with a light stick. So I was like, I guess I have two light sticks right now. So I did my whole concert with two light sticks. I felt really, really cool. Like really cool.
She was double fisting
I
the light
really was.
sticks.
At one point, like I have two of them, and like Ryan's helping me with the drink. It was amazing. But apparently, Ryan went to the bathroom, the restroom before getting the drink, and he was there washing his hands, just being a
As
normal
you do.
person. Yeah,
Right.
right. And somebody came up and were like, "Here," and he's like, "Okay." And that's how Kathy got her
That's how I
17
got
minutes.
my Carabong that I didn't even pay for. I got a text the next day and Laura's like, I got you a Carabong. And I was like, Laura, not again. Why are you being my sugar mom? And she's like, nah, bitch, it was free. And I was like, what? And then it turns out that both of them, like after they got to the hotel, because I think the person that gave it to Ryan, like it was like a fellow boyfriend or husband that was there
Yeah,
of
yeah.
someone. It might have fallen or it might have dropped and it wasn't working. So they just like gave it to the first person who was there. And Ryan, great, like thankfully accepted. But then, they looked into it, they fidgeted it with a little bit, and then it worked and it was fine. But they were like looking to see, I was like, did they put drugs inside?
That's
Like what?
yeah.
What? Someone just gave you a light stick in the middle of a concert, like only in K-pop, I swear to God. This would not fly literally anywhere else
Anywhere.
for anything else. No.
It was crazy. Like I was just like, how does this happen to you? Like,
Yeah.
because that was Ryan's first K-pop concert, I think. So it was like
Yeah.
you you got a light from a random person in the
I
bathroom.
mean, clearly the universe had a plan for me all along to,
I think so.
go into Carrot Dome whether I wanted to or not. And I would have tried so fucking hard for months
I
again, as she
did.
does. And I was in, I'm in, I'm fully in and fully with like half the group is my bias line. We're at that point already. So yeah, anyway, the light stick had to find its way to me one way
Mhm.
or another. So and look, I'm glad it did when it did because then I
Yeah,
wouldn't have been able to get it after now that there's a new
right.
version. So
Just
it
as it
did.
was meant to. Our fifth was 80s. I don't think there's anything cool about that story. We just got it because
No,
I think
again, it was just Laura being like,
yeah.
we need this light stick.
Well, because I had actually been on the lookout for it for a long time,
Mm,
but the first version, I think, was sold out for months. And then it happened that the reason was because they were creating a second version. So
yeah.
as soon as the second version dropped, I was like, we need this right now.
Yeah. And we like version one of the 80s
We
one. It
did.
was
It was
cute.
very nice.
And we had been trying to go see 80s since like January 2021. No, sorry, 2022,
Mm-hmm.
when they were first around here in the US post COVID stuff. And we weren't able to. So, like, when they were teasing that they were going to come back around, we were like, we have to get the light sticks.
We did.
Yeah.
Our sixth one and the second one that Kathy was the big push was the Treasure one, which we got in South Korea, which was kind of
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I knew we were going to the concert and I considered buying the light stick here and taking it with me, but we were traveling with carry-ons and they were
Yeah.
packed to the like brim, to the brimmiest of brims. So I knew there was gonna be no like space for me to carry because I wanted to surprise Laura with it, but I'm like, if I take both light sticks with me, like I'm literally not gonna be able to live. So I just was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll figure it out over there. Hopefully they're gonna sell it at the venue, and if not, it is what it is. So we wanted to like go to the venue with time that day, but we ended up
Yeah.
getting not lost, but we did use the wrong train. So we got to the venue like an hour after we were supposed to. Line 5, y'all. That line 5 when it splits, make sure that you're going on the right one. So anyway, we got to the venue, we ate, we were splitting ourselves to make different lines so we could get everything that we needed. And then we saw that there was like merch booths, but they all said to like pick up merch. But then Laura went and saw like on the back of it, there was another side. And she was like, no, they're selling them here. And she thought that I just wanted it for me. So she just like
Mhm.
left me there by myself while she went to buy beer because, the priorities for each of
Priorities.
us. We are aligned in our priorities. We know ourselves. And so I bought the 2 light sticks. She didn't notice. And then when I was inside, she was like trying to download the app so I could sync my light stick to her phone so I could be in the thing. And I'm like, no, you're not gonna need it. And then she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I bought you a fucking light stick. You think I'm gonna use one myself? And she's like, I didn't know. And I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna do this by myself. You're the light stick person. So she was completely like, the math wasn't mathing for her. But then we both got to use our light sticks, and yeah, it's honestly the really good part about it was that I got to pay Korean price, which is
Yeah.
substantially less than whatever we
Oof.
pay here with no shipping.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite part about the treasure light stick that I will treasure for the rest of my life, honestly.
It was a beautiful gift.
Aw.
So that's why I treasure it. Hey.
Hey. Yeah. And then the 7th that I guess was the other one that I sponsored was, so we always, 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 always from the beginning of time of being K-pop fans, and ever since we found out about Lightsticks and started looking into them, the design of the EXO Lightstick just hits. Like both of us, like Laura does graphic design and she does like a lot of like beautiful things. I just like to look at beautiful things, and symmetry is the most beautiful thing to me. And I just find that Lightstick so satisfying. For those of you watching, Laura is currently showing it on the screen. So the way that the designer did the E, the X, and the O, it just like that hexagon is, oh my God. I can literally write essays about how perfect this light stick is. So we had talked about getting it since last year, but EXO was not really one of the groups that we thought we were going to be able to see at any point soon. So it just wasn't a priority. Others were priorities before. It's an investment. So you don't want to, it's not like you can be like, oh, let me go buy 10 light sticks right now. Like
Yeah.
you want to space out your expenses. So because we have a new store in South Florida that opened a few months ago, I went one weekend and I saw they had EXO light sticks, and I also had a coupon. So I was like, Laura, I think this is our time to get the EXO light stick. And she was like, okay. So I went and got us the EXO light stick. I still haven't unpacked mine. I still haven't unboxed it. It's like perfectly pristine, but Laura got hers out the second that she got her hands on the box. So that is our
This light
7th
stick.
and final big original normal version light stick, and how we got all of them.
So aside from the group selling light sticks, they also sometimes sell official carrying cases. So
I have mine here too.
the only carrying case that we have is the BTS carrying case. Carrying cases and a lot of the extra stuff for the light sticks are harder to bind than the actual light stick sometimes.
Agreed.
So this one was, I don't know how it is that one of us found out that it was being sold, and we
Not
were
one
like,
of us, fully you. Again, this is one of those things where like I'm just here for the ride. I got a text from Laura one day and she's like, hey, buy this. And I was like, okay, maybe you might have bought them both and I just give you the money for it because
Maybe.
you found them. And I don't, Laura and I talk about this all the time. Sometimes she tells me things and they don't really like register. Like I'm a very visual person. So like sometimes just listening to something doesn't really like go into my cortex the way that it should. Not the cortex. I'm not a bio person. Just don't listen to me.
The brain
But
thing.
in my brain, my cerebellum, my gray matter, whatever the fuck you want to call it, mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. It's fine. So, so, so I just know that one day she was like showing me the carrying cases, and I couldn't understand why she was looking at this thing. But she was like, "Hey, it's like what was it, like $40? I don't even know what it was."
Something like
And I was
that.
like, yeah, sure, I'll Venmo. I didn't even have a job, guys. And I was just like, here, just take my money. I don't care. Whatever makes you happy, Laura, I will buy it with you too. So I'm very glad that, she was looking at this and for this, because honestly, both of us are clumsy ass people and we are not to be trusted with fragile things or things that, need to be delicately cared for. So this is really, really good to protect it from us because we are the problem and the danger that they're facing. And they're not available anymore. Like they went
No,
out after that. I don't think they've had any other runs of it.
I don't think so. So, for those not watching, basically, we're just going to talk about this one because this is the only carrying case we have. the BTS and most specialty carrying cases are made exactly for the Lightstick. So they have like a lot of cute little details. This one has the BTS logo, and the zipper has
like
the BTS.
embossed. It's
Right.
a very sexy,
Luxurious.
luxurious feeling material. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's
It
very
does.
pretty.
And then the zipper, the little thingy to open it,
Yeah,
is also the BTS logo.
it's like a
So that's
charm.
really cute. And then when you open it, it has a hole that perfectly fits the light stick.
Yeah.
And then it has, this isn't even foam. It's like that's
It's some Tempur-Pedic memory
right,
foam thing situation because
right,
it's made like Laura said to fit the light stick perfectly. Even like the Army Bomb has at the very top on the side a little red bulb with like a black detail, and there's space for that made in the
right.
case to make sure that like it literally does not move like a millimeter with
Yeah.
the protection around it. So
So for us, or at least for me, the carrying case is really not to take to a concert, is
correct.
if you're traveling for the concert or if you're storing it at home, at least for me, because I don't really display them. I don't have the space. But that's kind of like the idea behind them.
Yeah.
And it really does feel nice knowing that one, you don't have to take the original packaging and maybe have it destroyed. And two, if you put it in a suitcase or in a book bag, it's not going to get crushed.
Yeah.
Because, and I think this is a good segue, these bitches are expensive.
Yes, they are. Tell them.
You do not want to fuck one up because some of these things will set you back $70
Or more.
without shipping.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's if you can find them because they're
right.
not available all the time from every group like
It's
year
true.
round. It's hard to find them like when if you don't catch them during the pre-order period, if you don't catch them during the I don't know, fandom recruitment period, if you
Yeah,
don't catch them, it's ridiculous. Like it's the scarcity tactics really work. Because
they
like
do.
whenever friends that are new to K-pop or whatever have asked us like, hey, do I get the light stick? We're like, yes, get it right now because you don't know if it's gonna be available. Like it's literally feels like zombie apocalypse shit is gonna go down because if you don't have the light stick, it's just not the same. It just isn't.
And
So
then, aside from the actual light stick being expensive, some light sticks also come with like charms and decorations that are like official.
mm-hmm.
And those are also super hard to find because, again, if you don't catch them when they drop, forget about it. So,
Yeah.
for example, I'm showing the 17
Version
version
2.
2 light stick. When I bought it with a little woozy charm. And one, they don't sell the version 2 anymore. But even if they did, the charms are like also super hard to find.
Yeah.
And they're not this little thing, it's made out of plastic and it was like $15. I had to
Yeah.
have it, but it's not worth 15 freaking
And
dollars.
do you know if it's gonna fit version 3 by any chance?
At least from what I saw, some people did have it on it, but the version 3 comes with its own set of
That's
like
right. And they had
little
the
charms.
handle cover. There you go.
Right.
Yeah. The other point, before I forget, to Laura's point about the carrying case not being for use to go to the concert in the US, because our laws are wonderful and whatever, we have to take clearbacks to the event. So anyway, we don't really have a choice about taking the carrying case because they won't let us into 80% of the venues in this country
Right.
with the carrying case. But again, it's good because even if we travel always with carry on only or like book
Mhm.
bags. So if you don't have the right protection around your light stick, it could happen that on the plane, if it rolls around or if you have things in your bag, it could really get messed up. And again, that you
Yeah.
don't want to lose that investment. So
You don't. Not all groups have their official carrying cases. So what I did or what I have is I bought a Nintendo Switch carrying case that I measured before I bought it. I measured a couple of my light sticks to see if they would fit, and they do. I've fit I think 3 different types in here, and I use that as a protective case when I travel because like Kathy said, we are the problem.
We are.
So it's good to have something for it. I know people sometimes travel with their boxes, but I like to keep the boxes and I like
Yeah.
to make sure that they're not like crushed and stuff. So to
Yeah.
me that just feels like you're asking to crush the box.
Yeah.
Cuz
And
some
some
of
of
the
these
boxes,
boxes are pretty.
I
Like,
was gonna say the 80s light stick, the box is basically like a little treasure box. It's very cute. Like you don't want that fucked up. I don't know. Personally.
I've never been one to care about packaging that much, but because I was raised by Trixie Mattel and I love her so much and she has her makeup line, she always talked from the very beginning about like beautiful packaging. And so now I do think that packaging plays a part in the experience, especially because when we got the 80s light stick. So if you don't know anything about 80s, their concept is all about pirates and instead of having the leader called the leader, he's called the captain, and they have flying ships and all kinds of elements to the concept of pirate ships and things. So their light stick is like a treasure chest, and it's not ornate in the sense of like the box is not super high quality or anything, but they made up for the lack of sturdiness in the box with the design. So it
Yeah.
has like and this is version 2, by the way. So it has it's the only box that it's supposed to sit kind of horizontally instead of standing up. It looks like it has a lock, and then you open it and you have the light stick. I have mine still in here. You can stand it up. It does come with the right box component to keep it safe and standing, but I have it horizontally because that's how it looks cute with the design. So yeah, that's the component. It's one of my favorite ones because of the concept. Like that's
Right.
just making sure that the customer experience is lived throughout. Like 360 concept, beautiful, delicious. Yes, 10 out of 10.
These K-pop companies just want to get your money.
Girl.
Aside from like the normal light stick, they also usually come out with a keychain light stick.
Yeah.
It's meant to be like your daily companion. But
Yeah,
again,
right.
these are even harder to get than the actual light sticks.
Yeah.
So even though they're less expensive because they're usually around $20 to $35 depending on the group or whatever, they're impossible to find. Like impossible to find. They sell out
Yeah.
faster than the actual light stick. Don't
Because more people can afford it.
right. I don't I mean, I can't ever imagine someone using this as an actual freaking keychain. Like,
Yeah, no, I would want to protect it at all costs with my life. Like
right.
we used it the one time that we'll share in a little bit how we used it, and then I put back the little like battery stopper thingy so that I could preserve it for life. Yeah. And I wanted to
Smart.
show you guys, for those of you who are watching. So this is the box for the BTS light stick, and then this is the box for the keyring. Like they literally made the cutest. It's like Austin Powers, Dr. Evil, and Menemy. The literal perfection copy, smaller replica, so that it feels. I do think that they make these for fans that can't afford the big one.
Yeah.
I think that that's one of the thought processes behind it. So it feels like a very authentic experience for you to get the smaller one. Like you're getting the same quality that you get for the big one, just a little bit of a size difference.
And they're like, this is the only one we have, or because they're so hard to find. Not
They
for lack of
are.
trying. I've literally tried with every single group, but they're impossible to get.
Yeah.
And they're so cute.
So I just said that Laura was gonna share, we were gonna share why we got or where we use the BTS keychain light stick. And funny story, we went to see Daddy Yankee. That was our last concert of 2022 in Miami, because we are, at the end of the day, Latinas, and we love and stand Legendary, the goat, the literal actual goat.
Mm.
So when we went to see him and we were going to the concert, we were both kind of like, "Do you want to take a light stick to the concert?" And then I'm not sure if it was loud or I don't know how it was, but we were like, "What if we take the keyring to like not be obnoxious, but like still have something?" And I was like, "Okay, bet, let's do it." So we both took the little keyring, and we have an Instagram that we posted, like a reel from the concert, and it was just so fun. We both
It
like were
was.
so stupid with the little light sticks. Like we didn't use them the whole time during the concert. We're not like that level of obnoxious, I mean, it wasn't really bothering anyone. Like we could have,
No.
but it would have bothered us, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we found a way to converge our worlds and have our little K-pop moment during the reggaeton Latin concert that didn't have the light component. So yeah, it was great. I think that was a really good use of it. And I don't think Daddy Yankee knows what light sticks are, but maybe now he does, thanks to us. Actually,
Actually,
oh yeah.
he tried to do the whole like bracelet thing,
Bracelet.
but people are kind of dumb. It didn't work out.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to do that. So
Moral of the story: if you see the light stick of a group you like, buy it.
buy it.
Period.
Because you might not have the chance to do it again. Another version might come out that you might not like. And yeah, it's every single company is playing with us and we are playing into their game. But hey,
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
what? At least our lives are lit.
Ah, that's cute. So, in terms of the design, earlier versions of light sticks were literally just a light stick. You turn it on, used it during the concert, and then turned it off.
Hmm.
As technology has gotten better and there's Bluetooth and all this stuff, now a lot of the light sticks basically turn on as soon as you enter the venue or as soon as the concert starts.
Yeah.
So it's made the experience, I guess, easier. You don't have to connect to anything. You just show up, turn it
Yeah.
on, and it immediately syncs with all of the other light sticks in the venue, and they can create like a light show
Yeah.
for everyone with the light sticks.
I don't know what the technology is, but honestly, they need to get the government involved and give them this kind of technology because there are pairing booths when you go to concerts that they will take your seat number and whatever, and they're gonna make sure that your light stick will sync to the right seat that you're at because the colors shift at different times. So it does make a difference where you're sitting, your light stick will act differently. And honestly, I don't think we've ever really had an issue. There's also apps that you can download to your phone to make sure that you can input your information and it'll sync to your phone so it'll have very accurate location of where you are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I want to say the majority of the concerts that I've gone to where there is like a synced live show, I didn't have to pair it. I just had to walk into the venue, sit in my seat, and then I was good to go. The concert did the work for me.
Usually, or at least I've noticed that if they ask you to pair it based on your seating, is because they're going to write using the light sticks. So when we went
Right.
to PTDLA, we had to put in where we were sitting because they were spelling out at one point BTS and ARMY using light
Mm-hmm.
sticks.
Yeah.
So when it's just kind of paired when you walk in, it's still a very nice light show, but it's not necessarily for spelling things because there's no way for them to, at least I don't think there's
Yeah, I don't
exactly
think so either.
a way to know where you're sitting so they can spell it out.
No,
But
I think they can pick up on the section probably. Like
right,
that's as accurate as it can get if you don't
right,
have any sort of like detail pairing. Yeah.
right. But it does create like beautiful light shows throughout the concert. We recently just both went to Yoongi's concert separate, but we both went, and there's a point where I don't remember what song it is that all the light sticks turn red,
It
and
was for Burn It.
it like changed the atmosphere. Like it gave me chill, like remembering gives me chills because it
100%.
just brought this like extra layer to the
Yeah,
concert.
to the experience. It really does
Mhm.
add to it. Yeah.
So it's beautiful. I love
It
lightsticks.
is. It is. This is why we are going to keep buying them because it just really does have an impact for us.
And one thing that I also want to mention is sometimes just because the group is big or the company is big doesn't necessarily mean that the light stick will be luxurious.
Mm,
So personally, I really don't like the Stray Kids Nachi Bomb because it doesn't feel luxurious to me.
yeah.
It feels very cheap, very
Light.
like light, just kind of like for being such a big company, JYP, and already having a lot of experience with light sticks, it just doesn't feel like what I imagine a JYP group, Stray Kids, which is already pretty big, like internationally, the
Yeah.
light sticks should feel.
Yeah. I think that the fact that the compass like turns like this, like you have to like rotated in a certain way to get the compass to like rotate and stuff, it makes it feel like a toy instead of like a
Okay.
gadget. Normally, I feel like light sticks feel like a gadget, and this one, this little
Right.
element doesn't feel very controlled, and
Right.
it sounds like you're about to break something. I don't think the mic picks
Right.
up on it because they're dynamic, but yeah, it doesn't really provide the same experience in that sense. Like if you're just, in the concert and just using it for the back and forth like you do, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally a toy versus a gadget, I think, for me personally.
Agreed. Agreed. Monster X and ATs who come from smaller companies, their light sticks. Well, I don't think AT's light sticks is simple at all, but
No,
it feels good.
it
It
does.
it's it doesn't feel maybe as heavy as some other light sticks, but it
Right,
feels good.
right.
Monster X is super simple, but again, it feels sturdy. It feels
It does.
simple but elegant.
It does.
And I love it.
Yeah, it feels like it has weight when you
Yeah.
carry it, so like you're bound to grab it more
Yeah.
solidly. And then the design inside, I think it's pretty special. Because
Yeah.
even when you think about it, it kind of is cut like a gem, but it's
It
not a
is.
diamond. You don't confuse it with the carrot bong. You don't confuse it with the shiny or the treasure one, even that looks like a treasure box. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't look like any of them. So I think Monster X got it right. Thank you, Wano,
Mm,
for with this design. And again,
agreed.
it's like the company invested in the right part of it, the right elements for it.
Right. So it really doesn't depend on how big the company is. I think it's just
It's a very conscious decision of where they're gonna
agreed
spend their money, and I think JYP dropped the ball with this one.
with that one because our friend got the twice a light stick, and
Yeah.
that feels like technology. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God. I mean, it is the latest version, but like still like it
So
feels whew.
and, truthfully speaking, we think it's coming.
Yeah.
One of the points that we're gonna talk about later is the availability of light sticks at concerts, and the Stray Kids just literally finished a tour here in the US, and they had a ridiculous 700 light sticks available per day per venue, which is nothing considering they were doing arenas and upwards of 18 to 20,000 people were coming. So there were plenty of fans that wanted to get light sticks, but it was just not available. They're nowhere to be found. And that's usually the sign that there's a new one coming. And there's a pretty big comeback on by the time this episode comes up, it would have been last Friday that the new album would have come out. And hopefully this means that JYP is ushering a whole new era for Stray Kids with a new version of their Lightstick.
And I think that's a great segue to just talk about where you can get them. So, as Kathy mentioned, usually if there's a concert, they will have some light sticks available for purchase at the concert. However, we do not recommend anyone waiting the day of the concert to buy a light stick
No,
because, like Kathy said, with Stray Kids, they had like two for 20 million people.
literally.
So you run a chance of not getting a light stick. And if you're like me, you need the light stick.
Yeah. And for BTS, when we did PTDLA,
Mm-hmm.
they were at the moment they were not available online. A couple of months before the concert, they were nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
They did have a good amount at the stadium, but we're talking about now 50,000 people every night for 4 nights. So they really had to ration, I guess, or
Right.
make the logistics work to be able to provide light sticks at least every day to the fans. Mind you, they were selling both version, like the special edition and version 3. And no one wanted to buy version 3 because version 3 is ugly, bulky, and outdated because compared to version 4, once you see the special edition version, you're like, that thing? No, thank you. So, but some fans bought it because it was better than having nothing.
Right.
So when we went to the concert, I remember vividly being in the line and the merch line for other things because thankfully, thanks to Laura, we had the light sticks. But you would hear them when they were like, light sticks are sold out. And like half of the line would just
I
like
just
drop, be like, no. And then like I remember seeing a dad, and I was like, this would so be my dad. at the front of the line, like begging the guy to give him the broken light stick that didn't work with any batteries. He's like, I'll take it. It's fine. Just like give me something for my kid. So people are willing to do all kinds of things to just get their hands on one. And so waiting to the last minute and thinking you're going to find something at the concert, maybe you will. Maybe you get lucky. You have to get there early because the merch line is going to be crazy. You have to make sure that you buy batteries in advance because the batteries that they sell you at the venue are not good. And I would not put those batteries inside my light stick. That is a freaking investment and was so expensive to begin with. So yeah, it's like, it's a lot. Don't leave that side of the logistics to the end. Try to get your light stick before the concert for sure. And you can do that at the following places.
You can get them at the official like stores for the groups. Hybe has Weavers. Actually, not just Hybe, because a lot of other groups now are part of Weavers. You can get them on Weavers. SM has the SM Global Shop. You can get them at the official stores. The problem with that is they go they go out so quickly. They go out of stock so quickly. If you know that there is a drop coming, you have to run to the website to be able to get a light stick from the official store.
Yeah.
The perk of doing that is you don't really have a there is no markup. The only problem is shipping. However, some of these companies do have global shops where the shipping is a bit less than if you were getting it from Korea. A bit less, not too much. But it's still cheaper than getting it at a local K-pop store, because at local K-pop stores they have to make a profit, so they mark it up sometimes quite a lot.
Yeah, they charge you for the shipping and the handling and the new version and what's it called? Proxy. Like it's that you get charged for the entire experience. I think, like, just to give you guys, if you have no idea about light stick prices at all, a light stick can cost around $30 to $40, 45 maybe on its own. So for example, with Laura saying there's like Weavers has the USA shop and then it has the global shop. So the global shop is the one that you get it from Korea. In the global shop, they will price something. Let's say this will cost $40, right? And then the shipping from the global shop is going to be $45 because if it's not something that weighs like less than an ounce, it's
Right.
going to be really expensive shipping, especially in 2023. Shipping
Right.
prices international from Korea have gone through the fucking roof. Like we were not ready for these shipping prices. So you're literally gonna have to be paying more for shipping than for the actual item, which is ridiculous. It hurts so much.
Right.
So when you buy it or you see it on the USA shop instead, the price will be more of the item. It'll say instead of 40, it'll be like 48. And then the shipping will be like $20. So it's very similar in price. Like on
Right.
global, you would have ended up paying like 80. And then on USA, you would have been able to pay like 65 or maybe a little more, depending. Because
Right.
again, it's just different. I'm just throwing out random prices. These are not the actual prices. So don't quote me. Just giving you an example of the global versus USA experience. So yeah, it's expensive, but if you buy it at the concert, they also charge you like you're
Yeah.
buying with shipping because they
Yeah.
don't charge you the list price that you see online. They
Right.
always mark up merch at concerts,
Right.
always. So,
And then in terms of buying it from the official shop compared to a like local K-pop store, for example, the AT's light stick, the first version, because I was, like I mentioned, looking at it for months at the KQ website, the KQ Global Shop, they were selling it for $30 with like $15 shipping. So
crazy.
ended up being like just 45.
Mm,
But local stores were selling it for 70 or $80. So the markup is there.
mm. And
Heavy.
especially when there's demand
Yeah,
and low supplies.
right. So what we like to do is we like to compare different shops and see which one has it at a more quote unquote fair price.
Mm-hmm.
And usually we only go to stores that we've either bought or have for
Good
like good
reviews.
reviews,
Yeah.
because a lot of places, Amazon, because you can buy some light sticks at Amazon, you can get a knockoff version. I've heard of
Yeah.
people getting knockoff versions in Amazon and eBay.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful about that too.
Yeah. And the problem with that one, there's nothing wrong with it if you want to knock off whatever, as long as one, you know that you're getting a knockoff and not the
Yeah.
real one. And the other, like the big problem is it's not gonna sync. If there's a light
Right.
show, the knockoff is not gonna sync with the light show at the venue. So it's gonna ruin your experience. That's to find out. Imagine like being excited and buying the light stick and then you get to the venue and it doesn't work. You got to knock off. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure to get the official merch to have the full experience. Yeah.
Right. So you just have to shop around, I guess, like with anything. Just make sure that whatever store you are buying it from is legit and that you're not going to give them all your money for something that isn't real. So
Yeah. And also we went to a cup sleeve last weekend. I dragged Lara to two cup sleeves. I was so happy. And they actually had light sticks for Espa, one of the vendors, because they have like a small shop here in Miami. It's not a brick and mortar. They have an online shop, so they do a lot of orders. And so they had Espa light sticks available. So that's another way that you can get them maybe at events if you know that there's a small shop that kind of sources things. You can always ask them, because if they're going to place an order, they could include the light stick in there and maybe get it to you for cheaper, but it's not guaranteed, because again, they do need to make their own profit as well. So that's another option that you can try.
So I think I've mentioned this before. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with my husband. That is 2 people in a 1-bedroom apartment, which is not very big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have space for anything, barely even for me. So I personally can't display my light sticks. So I keep them in their box in a bookshelf. So I just keep them in their original box in a bookshelf because I have no other choice. Like,
I mean,
that's it.
I have a choice. I'll join you. I have a bookshelf in my room. I have a choice. I could have them displayed out and pretty. For me personally, I just don't like to clean and dust things off all the time. It bothers me. I'm not that person. So because of the amount of dust and shit that can follow around it, even if it had a case or whatever, I'm just not that bitch. So mine are all in their boxes because that's the best way to preserve them, to keep them clean. I can dust off the box if I need to, but it's not really the tea for me. I've seen some people that have beautiful, like stunning displays, like K-pop rooms and things. It's not gonna be me. And also, there's other people that I've seen on TikTok also that have the light sticks hanging from like hooks. Like I've seen someone who has like a string across the room and then has hooks with all the light sticks, which is a cool decor thing. Like, love it. I'm just like, that's gonna get dirty and it's gonna need a dusting, and I just don't want to do it. So for me personally, it's about maintenance, and I'm a low maintenance gal. So I don't want to deal with that. And that's my thesis on why I don't nicely displayed light sticks. I also only have 7. So, you know, it's not that I have this whole like wall that I could fill anyway. But
I don't know if I had the room I would display them either because I'm just lazy. I've had all these like beautiful ideas to decorate my apartment and I've never done it. So I don't think I don't think I would actually take the time to display them because I'm just lazy. There are different things that you can buy. There's people that 3D print stands.
Yes.
The Monster X light stick
That's what I was
actually
gonna say.
comes
I
with a
literally
stand.
left it out just to show you guys. Again, if you're watching, I love Monster X for thinking about this
I
because
love them.
geniuses. Having the base come already with the light stick, you can literally display it or just use it for the box. But like, hello, genius, perfection, love it. Why doesn't everybody do this? Because they're fucking cheap. That's why. So and my favorite part about it, it doesn't just come with the ridge for the light stick, it comes with another one in the front, so you can put a photo card like an estampita de la Virgen, like a little virgin, like, you know, what's it, well, the photo card, whatever. It would be so like
Virgin photo card.
Latinas know where I'm talking about. Latinas know what I'm about. So you can put the little photo card in the front and have your full display moment, your YN moment, your fantasy moment, all of the moments. And that's why they're iconic. Monster X, thank you for this. Thank you. Just thank you.
It's great. So, in terms of actually preserving and protecting them, we do have a couple of tips.
We do.
I have only one tip for this section, and that is my favorite thing I have not ever bought, but almost
It's
ever
close to
bought.
it. It's close to it. Your excitement is palpable.
I think we've talked about this before,
We
but
have
I will never get tired of talking about it. And that
never.
is a Lightstick lanyard. It is amazing
I feel like
because
a flight attendant showing it, like when they do the little fasten your seatbelt and by putting the buckle into the thing. It me.
the Lightstick lanyard that we bought or that we have is by this small
Company
business,
called LSSSD.
and they basically sell Lightstick lanyards. You can get them for each of the groups. I actually was looking for another one of the ones we have, which are like multi-stand ones,
Mm.
and they don't make them anymore.
Mm.
But you can find one for the groups, and basically you just stick your light stick through the hole, and then you can wear it like a crossbody bag.
Or
And
like a front facing lanyard if you had like an ID, whatever is more comfortable for you, or like a purse from the side. You can wear it in many different ways because it's like body length. So again, Laura and I cannot stress enough how clumsy we are, how rough we are. Just it cannot be
forgetful.
overstated. Forgetful. So we need a wrist strap. We need a lanyard situation. We need a purse to like put it in. And
Yep.
we need the carrying case to travel with it. Like
Yep.
we literally need all those things. We do not make the rules. It's just who it is.
But with this lanyard, if your venue doesn't allow for big bags that fit your light stick, you can carry it safely on your person without having to worry about it.
Facts.
Obviously, you want to be careful that you're not swinging it and hitting people and hitting things,
Yeah.
but you know that it will not fall and possibly break when it hits the ground. So
Yeah.
I've used it with different light sticks with very different
Girths.
grips. Love that word.
Mm.
And it fits all of them.
Yeah. The
It
hardest one is for me personally that I've used is the 80s one. The 80s does have quite a girthy, not a base, but where it meets the orb, it is very thick, so it doesn't reach all the way to the top, but it
right.
doesn't have to
Right.
because it creates friction, and because it's silicone, it doesn't slip off. So it
Right.
doesn't matter if it doesn't reach the top of the stick handle
Yeah.
because it'll be safe. It'll still be safe, which is all that matters.
And actually, it's better that it doesn't, because if it doesn't, you can make sure that it's always upright and not backwards, or like the light stick is facing down, which gives the
Yeah.
impression that it's going to fall. It won't, but it just gives the impression that it's going to fall.
Yeah.
So honestly, it is one of the best investments because, like we said, these bitches are expensive, and
Mm.
this has saved me a lot, like a lot. So
My favorite thing about this is that Laura like showed them to me and I was like, yeah, huh, sure. Again, me not retaining information. And then she just bought it for me. She didn't even charge me for it. She was like, here, you need this. And I was like, oh, Bessie, thank you. So yeah,
it's because at PTDLA we had a couple drops,
girl,
and we do not
triggered.
want a repeat of that.
So this
Mm-mm.
is a great segue into my other point. So I don't know if the light stick came with this or the carrying case came with this for the
Light
army
stick.
bomb. Yeah, so the BTS army bomb is one of the few actually because I'm noticing as I'm looking around the rest come in like plastic. So step up your games, other companies. But the BTS light stick came with like a duster bag, kind of like what purses come with that have like drawstrings and everything. And I should, and I will from this moment forward, take this with me to the concert because it's not considered a bag. It's just to cover the top. Or if you can find some sort of like similar duster that can fit just the orb, I would highly recommend it because the first day that we walked into PCDLA for the concert, the fucking employees at SoFi Stadium, still to this day, I swear, my vendetta against them one day, my revenge will be sweet. Because those people were not fucking ready for K-pop. They were not ready for ARMY. There were four like steps in the process to get into the SoFi event. We have also an episode on what that whole experience. So we literally had to stop at 5 or 4 different points during the time that we were getting into the venue. So this dumb bitch was literally taking my stuff away from me so that I could go to the metal detector. And because I was like not really holding onto this thing, this girl dragged this thing from me and it literally fell on the floor. And I remember Laura and I both looked at each other like
Our hearts are like,
literally the Cinderella glass slippers had fallen. And basically they did. To this day, if you are watching, you can see like the hit of the pavement on my light stick, which I pretend, because I like to find the silver lining and everything just to cope, that it's like, you know how Yoongi's always like being edited, like he's blushing by the editors at Hybe. So I pretend that my light stick is blushing like Yoongi because it's actually very even. The blemishes on it are on either side of the army bomb.
That's
So
cute.
it kind of looks like a face. And that is the only way that I have been able to move on from this moment. Have I moved on? No, I haven't, clearly. But I pretend that I have. So anyway, my light stick fell the second day as well. So this is when Laura said, bitch, we need like otter boxes for the light sticks. We need the Brinks trucks to bring the light sticks to the concert for us. So because of that, I highly recommend, if you are a clumsy girl, there's nothing wrong with that. Just, try to bring a duster bag and just take it out of the, take the light stick out when you're going to use it at the concert and then put it back in. Even if you're putting it in a bag, you just don't want it to get scratched. All of these are clearly sensitive and made out of acrylic or, resin or whatever. So if it gets scratched, it's kind of fucked. So.
Yeah. Mine, I don't take the duster bag. And so mine are like my army bomb is also scratched. I think my carrot bong is also scratched. But to me, it just means I used it. It means love. It means I went to a concert. So
Sure.
I don't mind it too much if it's just a scratch that
Right.
I did,
Right.
not some lady being stupid.
I hate her. I really hate her. I really hate her.
But ever since I got the lanyard,
Problem
that's
solved.
not happened.
Yeah.
It won't fall to the ground. It might get scratched, but it won't fall to the ground, and that is
Yeah.
what I care about.
Yeah, 100%. I'm literally, thank you, Laura. Great gift. And then the last tip and the last point and the end of our episode, for your light stick preservation purposes, do not, I repeat, do not under any circumstance leave the batteries inside the light stick once the concert is done, because the light sticks are sensitive and the little battery structures inside of it are very like flimsy and could suffer the consequences very quickly. So if the batteries oxidize and corrode this little thing, and mind you, every light stick, at least the common ones, like the normal shape ones, have the same shape. It has like the space for the 3 AAA batteries. If this gets fucked up and it fucks up the inside of the light stick mechanism, it's done. You're gonna have to buy a new one. So as soon as the concert ends, or I mean, as soon as you're home, I guess, you should take the batteries out of your light stick.
So I guess just to end the episode, which are your top 3 light sticks of the ones that you own?
For me, I would have to say BTS, ATEEZ, and Monsta X.
For me, it'd be EXO, 17, and BTS. Do you have any light stick, any other light stick that you think is in your near future? Or
Twice is tempting me.
okay.
Very much. Very much so. Twice is twicing me hard. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's the only other one. And I think we saw, is it the NMIX one that has the whale?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That one's really beautiful.
It is
like,
very pretty.
Even as a non-stan, I would want to buy that one just because it's so fucking pretty.
Agreed.
So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm just gonna get a 3D printer and I'm gonna make myself a mermaid tail light stick and just
That's cute.
stunt on all of you hoes. That's what I think I'm gonna do.
You should.
What about you? What do you
that.
think is your next light stick in your future?
In the very near future, catch me with the NCT Lightstick, bitches. Hey.
That makes all the
Like,
sense. Oh, and
in
the
the
new
very near future.
the new jeans one. Guys, I was this close to buying the new jeans one. The only reason I didn't buy it was because they didn't have the honey attachments available for it when I was looking for it. That is the literal only actual reason why I didn't fucking spend $100 on the spot, because I wanted all the things and I wanted them now. So the new jeans light stick was almost as close to me. And also worth mentioning, Laura is patiently awaiting version 3 of the 17 light stick because she
Oh,
bought it.
yeah.
And that's gonna
I
be
was a
at some
traitor.
point on the way. Yeah, that is coming. It's coming. It's in production. So she did order that one. I still haven't because I'm waiting for someone in some bathroom to give it to me, because that's just, I don't know.
This is how that works.
That's just how it works apparently. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. I might buy it at some point. But yeah, Twice is feeling very tempting. Twice and New Jeans are very tempting to me right now.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We hope you
Thank you
enjoyed this.
guys. Yeah, we do.
This was unhinged.
Very unhinged, but it was very fun. And
was.
I think we needed that energy
Wait.
for in between these episodes that we're doing, because
Yeah, because next week, ooh,
Mm,
you
yeah.
don't want to miss it.
Nope, you don't. No, you don't. The shit
Alright.
talking will continue. Anyway, thank you guys for
Thank
watching.
you.
We'll see you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the MIA2K podcast. We have lots of great content coming up ahead, so please don't forget to follow and subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you enjoyed our episodes, please rate us 5 stars.
And for the real-time tea, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook by searching for @MIA2K podcast. Dale, bye.